Hello everybody and happy Monday. I hope you're having a really great start to your week. Happy Coffee and Crafting. This is episode 42 and today I thought it'd be really fun to show you my Halloween mantle as well as my Halloween holiday tree. So if you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and Country Peony is a craft blog that inspires you to add a little extra whimsy and creative touches to your home. And honestly, it just hopefully inspires you to create, because creating is so important and so fun and so beautiful. So before we get started, I wanted to tell you that all of the links that I'm mentioning are in the description below. So my outfit is linked below, as well as a lot of these pieces that I have here on my mantle. So if you want to reference any of that during today's live, please do, but also please ask me any questions. I'm always happy to answer them. So today I wanted to start, we're going to talk about the mantle, and then we're also going to talk about my holiday tree, which is over there in my studio. Okay. So this mantle is such a fun way to decorate for the holidays. And when I'm decorating, I want to have fun. I want to add a lot of whimsy and I want some unexpected details. And so when I was working on this year's Halloween decorations, I wanted them to be spooky cute and not spooky scary. So I was so inspired by this wreath behind me with the orange and the pinks and the blacks in it. And so that's where I started. So I'm going to take you around and kind of show you what we've got going on here. So this wreath is kind of the inspiration behind the design. And I got this at Home. I've linked it here. And then I added some fun bows to kind of unify the space, because the tree and this, there's a lot going on. And so I wanted there to be some cohesion there. And so I put it on my favorite art print, which I have here on my mantle. I think it's a fun way. It almost looks like a massive necklace she's got going on, which I think is really cool. And then I found these really colorful pumpkins at Home as well. They were a really great price. I'm going to go to kind of bring it down for you so you can see my setup down here. But what I've got going on here, and the disco balls are really showing off right now, so that's really fun. But this whole setup was kind of a last minute decision, which is always really fun. I think that's when the best decisions happen. And so what I did was I found most of these pieces thrifting, all of these pumpkins. I used them for another project a couple years ago. And so I spray painted them this beautiful pink. And then I found these at Dollar Tree a couple years ago as well. And then of course my disco balls. So what I did was I have some gardening fencing behind this. It's that green fencing. And all I did was I used wire and I used some tape and some wire and I attached it directly to the fencing. And then for these small pieces in the front, I just hot glued them directly to the other ones. And I thought that was a smart installation because honestly, I'm probably not going to reuse these. If I want to, I can still take them off and use them in other applications. But as you can see, it's a fun cascading look with the pumpkins. A lot of these are just DIYs I've done over the years, like my beautiful paint pour pumpkin, and then just adding the fun bow moments throughout. I think it's really sweet, and it's a really fun way to decorate unexpectedly. Okay, so I'm going to bring you up now so I can show you this fabulous garland that I purchased a long time ago, actually. I purchased it this summer because I knew I wanted it in the studio. When I knew that I was going to do an orange and pink color palette, I went straight to Merry Merry Party, which is one of my favorite paper event sourcing places. And they had this adorable garland with the bats and the ghost and the jack-o'-lanterns in my color palette. And so it adds an extra step of whimsy, I think, and I love it so, so much. So now we're going to come over here to the other side of the mantle. And when I'm styling, I like to work in odd numbers. So all of these candlesticks are thrifted. So this is obviously milk glass. And I love how chic milk glass can look in your Halloween decor. And all I did was I hot glued the bow to it. And the cool thing with the milk glass is the hot glue will just come right off. It's not going to be a problem. And then because I like to work in odds, I added 5 candlesticks. So I added this thrifted brass candlestick as well. And then these are actually one of the coolest things ever. These are vintage spools. And so you can see they've got the holes in them. They've got that, the wire brass, the brass inside of it where you would have put this on a machine, and it would have just spun that. But honestly, they make the perfect candlesticks for Halloween, which I love so much. So that is really sweet. I found this at an estate sale several years ago, and it's actually from Cracker Barrel, so it is vintage, but it works perfectly in here, so I kept it as is, and I love it. And then we cannot forget about Miss Betty over here. Miss Betty is my thrifted skeleton that I just spray painted this fun neon pink, and she's really fun. I've had a lot of fun with her here in the studio. And then my yarn pillow made out of ghost, which is also really, really fun. So I'm going to take one more step back so y'all can kind of see the mantle in its entirety, and kind of just a fun statement. Again, I had a lot of fun with this. For instance, the cascading pumpkins was a last minute decision, and I just went with it because why not? My motto is if you're not having fun, then what's the point? So this is what we've got going on here. And now I want to take you over to my Christmas tree that I decorate for every season. And so it's over here on the other side of the studio. And what I did was I turned it into a Halloween holiday tree. And let me show you. I'm going to get this nice and tall for you so you can see the whole tree. Okay? So this tree was really fun to decorate, and I'm going to come back a little bit for you so you can kind of see it in its entirety. But the inspiration behind this, again, was the orange and the pinks and the blacks and the whites. And so I found these cats at Dollar Tree, and I thought, okay, I could have a lot of fun with these. And so what I did was, I didn't even update them. I just attached them directly to the tree. And so before this, and what I've linked below, was my 4th of July tree. So every season I have a new tree decoration. This tree brings me so much joy. It's so much fun. It's such a fun conversation piece. And if you don't have a holiday tree in your house, I definitely recommend you getting one. They're really fun. So anyway, before this was the 4th of July tree, so I basically took off my garland and I added this fun, almost pom-pom silver, because it's a great filler for the tree. And then I added in this beautiful, it's like a eucalyptus, it's a faux eucalyptus garland. And that's a gorgeous black. I think it kind of reminds me of bats, and I love how mysterious it is and very Halloween-esque. And then I added on my cats. And so again, I like to work in odds, and so I did 3 cats, and I like to make triangles in my designs. So we've got the cat here, we've got one there, and then we've got one down there. So when you look at the tree, you look up at the top and you kind of work your way down. So that's why I like to do that. These ghosts are actually a DIY that I did last year on Coffee and Crafting, and I've linked it below if you want to check that out. They were very simple and they were perfect for this tree because they weren't overwhelming, because their colors are very pale, very ghost-like, right? And then again, I brought over the same pumpkins, the really fun neon pop of the orange and the pink, and I dispersed it into my tree design. And I think that adds a really fun element. And they were very inexpensive, again, from at home. They were $4, so I love that. And then lastly, I added these ribbons. So when I do the ribbons, I love putting bows on my tree. It's such an inexpensive and easy way to decorate your tree. So these are really fun, these velvet ribbons, because they have the frayed edges. Again, it looks very Halloween-esque. This is the only time I put black on my tree, but for Halloween, I think it's perfect. And then to finish it off, I added these black and white striped ribbons to the tree. And if you notice from the mantle, it's the same exact ribbon, so it really ties the 2 spaces together, and I think it's really beautiful. And honestly, it kind of gives me that fun Beetlejuice vibes, which is so popular right now with the new movie coming out. So anyway, this is, I forgot one more thing, the pumpkins down below. So I always feature some disco balls, down below, as you can see, because I've got these massive disco balls that I love so much, but sometimes I don't know where to put them, so they go under my tree and they just reflect throughout the day, and they're so beautiful at different times of the day. And so then I added some pumpkins down there too, because why not? It's a Halloween tree. So anyway, it was so much fun to do. I hope this inspires you to have a little extra fun with your Halloween or holiday decor this year. Because if you're not having fun, I mean, honestly, what's the point? I think. And so just enjoy it. Make it personalized to what you really like, because you were living in the space, you were loving it on the space, and it should feel like your own. So thank you so much for following along today. I will see you next Monday here at noon Central Standard Time. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you guys, and until next time, happy crafting.